The Maple Leafs may have found the perfect weapon to play alongside Auston Matthews, but there's a twist nobody saw coming. Gavin McKenna is now in Toronto's plans, while Matthews works his way back from a serious injury. The dream pairing is already exciting fans, but one huge question could decide whether it ever happens. The Toronto Maple Leafs are heading into a season filled with huge questions. After missing the playoffs for the first time since 2016, the team made major changes. New general manager John Chayka is now in charge. Jim Hiller is the new head coach, and the roster has been changed in several important areas. But two names are getting more attention than almost anyone else: Auston Matthews and Gavin McKenna. Matthews is still the face of the Maple Leafs, but last season was one of the hardest years of his career. He played only 60 games and finished with 27 goals, 26 assists, and 53 points. Those were career lows for him in goals and points. Then came the injury that ended his season. On March 12, Matthews suffered a grade 3 MCL tear and a quad contusion in his left leg after a knee-on-knee collision with Anaheim defenseman Radko Gudas. Matthews needed surgery and was ruled out for the rest of the season. His expected recovery time was about 12 weeks. Now, there is some good news. Matthews has been skating again during the offseason, including at a pro camp in Arizona in August. The current expectation is that he will be ready for the start of the 2026-2027 season. But the big question is not simply whether Matthews can return. The real question is whether he can return as the same dominant player Toronto fans know. Before the injury, Matthews had already been dealing with several health problems in recent seasons. That makes his comeback even more important. Toronto needs its captain healthy because the team lost another major offensive player this summer, Mitch Marner. Marner left Toronto for the Vegas Golden Knights, taking away one of the team's biggest playmakers. That leaves a major hole next to Matthews. And this is where Gavin McKenna enters the story. Toronto selected McKenna first overall in the 2026 NHL Draft. He is only 18 years old, but his numbers are already getting people excited. At Penn State last season, he scored 15 goals and added 36 assists for 51 points in 35 games. He also finished the season much stronger than he started it, recording 32 points in his final 17 games. But McKenna's success did not start at Penn State. Before college, he played for the Medicine Hat Tigers in the WHL. In 2024-2025, he produced 129 points in 56 games, with 41 goals and 88 assists. He also helped Medicine Hat win the WHL championship. Then he represented Canada at the 2026 World Junior Championship and recorded 14 points in only 7 games. Those numbers explain why Toronto made him the first pick. But now comes the hardest test of all, the NHL. McKenna has already played under pressure at a young age. He became a major star in the WHL, won a championship with Medicine Hat, played for Canada at the World Junior Championship, and then moved to Penn State. His 51 points in 35 college games showed that he could keep producing against older players. Still, the NHL is a different challenge. Defenders are faster, stronger, and more experienced. McKenna will have to adjust quickly. Toronto also has choices to make with his role. NHL.com says McKenna could potentially play on the top line with Matthews and Matthew Knies. Another option would be putting him on the second line with John Tavares and William Nylander. He could also get a chance on the first power play unit. None of these spots are guaranteed, but the fact that they are even being discussed shows how much Toronto believes in him. And there is a reason the Matthews connection is so interesting. Matthews is one of the best goal scorers in hockey. McKenna's biggest strength is his ability to create plays and find teammates. If McKenna can earn a spot beside Matthews, the two could have very different skills that work well together. But fans should remember one important fact. They have not been officially announced as line mates. The Maple Leafs need more than one young player to fix everything. Last season, Toronto finished 3-2-3-6-1-4 and missed the playoffs. It was the first time the team missed the postseason since 2016. That failure led to major changes across the organization. The Leafs added new leadership, changed the coaching staff, and brought in several new players. The team also added Sergei Bobrovsky in goal, Nick Paul, Jack Roslovic, Colton Sissons, Teddy Bluger, Brandon Duhaime, Darren Radish, and other new pieces. Toronto is clearly trying to build a tougher and deeper team. But none of those changes matter as much if Matthews cannot stay healthy and produce like the superstar Toronto expects. Matthews still has 2 seasons left on his current contract, with a $13.25 million average annual value. There have been positive talks between Matthews and the organization, and general manager John Chayka has said Matthews wants to win in Toronto. So there is no verified news saying Matthews is leaving. Instead, the pressure is on Toronto to show that this new plan can work. That is what makes this season so important. Matthews needs to prove he is fully back. McKenna needs to prove he can handle the NHL and the Toronto spotlight. And the Maple Leafs need to prove that their massive changes can finally turn into results. If Matthews returns to his elite form and McKenna becomes the playmaker many expect, Toronto could have a very exciting combination. But if Matthews struggles to stay healthy or McKenna needs more time to adjust, the pressure will become even heavier. The pieces are finally moving into place. The superstar is coming back. The #1 pick is waiting for his chance. And Toronto has a completely different team around them. Now, everyone is waiting for one answer. When the puck finally drops, will Matthews and McKenna become the answer Toronto has been searching for, or will the pressure break this new plan before it even begins?
Yeah, Elliot, I would just ask you, I'll be honest, I am surprised that Quinn Hughes' deal is not done yet, and I know the numbers have gone up and that changes things, but I was under the feel, I just felt that was one of those ones that would get done quicker. It's not to say that he won't sign, but at the end of the day, it's not done yet, so it's still not done. Do you think that, as time has gone by, that, these, like you said, the Hughes brothers are out, they're talking about, the feelings, could they change because of that? I mean, the more time that goes by, there's obviously more room for a lot of different decisions.
I'll say this, EJ. I will worry about this if it's not done by the start of the season. Mm-hmm. If it's not done by the start, that's just my personal feeling. If it's not done by the start of the season, then I'll start to say, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah. Something is clearly changing around Quinn Hughes. And now one of the NHL's biggest insiders has put a line in the sand. His contract with Minnesota still isn't done, but Elliotte Friedman says there is one point when he will finally start to worry. That moment is getting closer, and what happens next could completely change the pressure around the Wild. Quinn Hughes was supposed to be one of the biggest contract stories of the NHL offseason, but the deal with the Minnesota Wild still has not been completed. Now, Elliotte Friedman has given fans something very important to watch. Friedman said he would start to worry if Hughes does not have an extension by the start of the season. That does not mean Hughes is leaving Minnesota. It means the situation becomes much more serious if the season begins without a new deal. And this is why that comment matters. Friedman is one of the most connected NHL reporters, so when he gives a clear point like the start of the season, people pay attention. Until now, there has been time for the Wild and Hughes' side to work things out. But once training camp and the regular season arrive, an unsigned star defenseman becomes a much bigger story. Every question about his future gets louder, and every game could bring more pressure. Hughes also has a very strong reason to ask for a major contract. In his first season with Minnesota, he scored 76 points in 74 regular season games with 7 goals and 69 assists. Then he added 15 points in 11 playoff games. Those numbers show why the Wild made such a huge move to bring him in and why keeping him is so important to the team's future. But there's another part of this story that makes the timing even more interesting. Reports say Minnesota has been looking at a longer deal, while a shorter contract has also been discussed as a possible path. Friedman previously projected a 3-year deal worth around $18 million per season, but that is a projection, not a confirmed demand from Hughes or his agent. Fans should keep that difference clear, because no final contract has been announced. There is another reason this situation deserves attention. The clock is not just about the season anymore. The new CBA could also affect the number of years Minnesota can offer. According to the latest report, the maximum contract term will drop to 7 years after September 16. That means the Wild and Hughes have an important decision to make before that change takes effect. If they want a longer deal, waiting could make things much harder. For Minnesota, keeping Hughes should be a major priority. He is not simply another defenseman on the roster. He is one of the most important players on the team and has already shown that he can produce at an elite level. His 76 points in 74 regular season games were followed by 15 more points in only 11 playoff games. That kind of production gives Hughes a very strong position in these negotiations. But there is a big question on the other side. What kind of contract does Hughes actually want? A long-term deal would give him security and could make him a key part of Minnesota for many years. A shorter deal could give him another chance to enter the market later, when the salary cap may be higher. Reports have mentioned different possibilities, including a 3-year bridge deal. But there is still no confirmed final agreement, so fans should be careful with rumors about the exact contract. This is also where the former Canucks connection makes the story more interesting. Hughes spent the first part of his NHL career in Vancouver and became the Canucks captain before moving to Minnesota. Because of his history in Vancouver, every major update about his future is going to bring back questions about what went wrong between the player and his former team. But right now, the focus is different. Hughes is already with Minnesota, and the main question is whether the Wild can make him part of their long-term plan. And imagine what happens if the season begins and there is still no contract. Suddenly, every question becomes bigger. Reporters will ask Hughes about his future, fans will study every comment. Opposing teams will watch the situation closely, and Minnesota will have to deal with contract questions while trying to focus on winning hockey games. That is exactly why Friedman's warning matters. He did not say the situation is falling apart. He simply gave everyone a clear point where concern should begin. Right now, the smartest conclusion is that the Wild still have time to get this done. There's no confirmed trade request, no confirmed decision by Hughes to leave, and no confirmed contract number. What we do have is an elite defenseman without an extension, a team that clearly wants to keep him, and an NHL insider saying the start of the season is when he would begin to worry. So now the pressure moves to Minnesota and Hughes. Can Bill Guerin and the Wild find an agreement before this becomes a daily distraction? Will Hughes choose security with a long deal, or keep his options open with a shorter contract? And most importantly, will this extension be finished before Friedman's warning line arrives? Because if it isn't, this quiet contract story could suddenly become one of the biggest NHL stories of the season. The Maple Leafs have made a decision that almost nobody saw coming. They hired someone trusted by one of hockey's greatest stars for more than 20 years. And this move could be much bigger than it looks. Is this the final piece to end years of disappointment, or is Toronto quietly preparing for something even more surprising? The Toronto Maple Leafs have made one of the most interesting moves of the offseason, but it is not a trade, a free agent signing, or a coaching change behind the bench. Instead, the team hired Andy O'Brien to lead its sport performance department. At first, this might not sound like a huge story. After all, most fans pay attention to goals, assists, and blockbuster trades. But when you learn who Andy O'Brien is and why so many people around the NHL respect him, this move suddenly becomes much bigger than it first appears. Andy O'Brien is one of the most respected performance experts in hockey. For more than 20 years, he has worked closely with Sidney Crosby, helping one of the greatest players in NHL history stay in top condition year after year. Crosby has played through long seasons, recovered from injuries, and remained one of the league's best players well into his career. While Crosby deserves the credit for his success, O'Brien has long been an important part of his training and preparation behind the scenes. But Crosby is not the only star connected to O'Brien. Over the years, he has also worked with elite NHL players like Nathan MacKinnon and John Tavares. He has also been involved with professional organizations that value modern sports science and player development. That experience has made him one of the most trusted names in hockey performance. So why did the Maple Leafs want him? The answer is simple. Toronto is trying to improve every part of the organization, not just the players on the ice. Since John Chayka became the team's general manager, he has focused on making smart changes behind the scenes. Instead of looking for quick fixes, the organization is investing in areas that can help the team over many years. Andy O'Brien's new job is much bigger than running workouts in the gym. He will oversee the entire sport performance department. That includes strength and conditioning, sports science, nutrition, recovery programs, injury prevention, rehabilitation, and other performance systems designed to help players stay healthy and perform at their best throughout the long NHL season. Think about how important that really is. Every season, injuries, fatigue, and recovery can change the outcome of games. A player who recovers faster can practice more, perform better, and stay on the ice longer. Even small improvements in strength, endurance, and recovery can make a difference over an 82-game season. Toronto believes these small advantages can add up in a big way. To understand why this move matters, you have to look at how hockey has changed. Years ago, teams focused mostly on talent and hard work. Today, the best organizations also invest in sports science. They study how players train, recover, eat, sleep, and prepare for every game. These small details can make a big difference over a long NHL season. That is where Andy O'Brien's experience becomes valuable. His job is not to score goals or coach during games. His job is to help create an environment where players can perform at their highest level. Better recovery can help players feel stronger during busy schedules. Better conditioning can help them stay fast late in games. Better injury prevention may help keep key players on the ice instead of watching from the sidelines. General Manager John Chayka appears to be thinking about the future, not just the next few months. Since taking over hockey operations, he has continued making changes throughout the organization. Instead of focusing on one big headline, he has worked on improving different parts of the team behind the scenes. The hiring of Andy O'Brien fits that same plan. It is another step toward building a stronger foundation for long-term success. Of course, this move does not guarantee a Stanley Cup. No performance coach can promise championships, and fans know that winning still depends on the players, the coaches, and what happens on the ice. But successful teams often look for every possible advantage. If better preparation helps players stay healthier and perform more consistently, that could become an important part of Toronto's future. Many fans are especially interested because of O'Brien's long relationship with Sidney Crosby. For more than 20 years, Crosby has remained one of hockey's biggest stars despite injuries and the physical demands of the NHL. While Crosby's success comes from his own talent and dedication, many people believe O'Brien's performance programs have helped him stay in elite condition throughout his career. That reputation is one reason this hiring has created so much excitement. The Maple Leafs also have a mix of experienced veterans and young talent. A strong performance program can benefit every player in different ways. Veterans may recover faster after games, while younger players can build healthy training habits early in their careers. If everyone improves even a little, the team as a whole could become stronger over an entire season. Now the attention turns to what happens next. One simple photo has Maple Leafs fans talking again, and the internet is filled with one big question. Why were Mitch Marner and Auston Matthews standing together after everything that happened? The images spread fast. Emotions exploded, and fans started wondering if this reunion means more than just friendship. But before jumping to conclusions, there's an important part of this story that almost everyone is missing. Mitch Marner may now wear the colors of the Vegas Golden Knights, but one recent post reminded hockey fans of his years with the Toronto Maple Leafs. During the NHL offseason, Marner shared a group of photos from his summer on social media. At first, the pictures looked like normal offseason memories, but one photo quickly caught everyone's attention. It showed Marner standing with Auston Matthews and several former Maple Leafs teammates during Frederik Andersen's wedding celebration. Within hours, the picture was being shared across hockey pages, and fans everywhere started talking about what it could mean. For many Maple Leafs fans, seeing Marner and Matthews together again brought back a lot of memories. The two stars spent years playing on the same team. They celebrated exciting wins, fought through tough playoff losses, and became two of the biggest faces of the franchise. Even though Marner has now started a new chapter with the Vegas Golden Knights, the friendship between the former teammates was clear in the wedding photos. The smiles and relaxed moments show that time together away from the ice can still bring old teammates together. The wedding itself made the reunion even more special. Frederik Andersen was not just another teammate. During his years with Toronto, Andersen became one of the team's most trusted goalies and shared many important moments